Time to bring in the other Admiral, everybody. Let's go. Can we pull off some milling here? Let's see. What do we get? What do we get? Okay, so with that, we bring back our actual Admiral. Do you block our pirate fleet? No, they don't. Let's get them. Let's be stealing their stuff. Arr. Hello, my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the latest in budget deck technology. And for today's deck tech, I originally started this deck as a 60 card deck, but with so much support given to pirates in recent times, I just couldn't keep it in one 60 card deck. So for today, join me on the high seas as we go into Historic Brawl to play this deck. Whether you're a fan of, say, Pirates of the Caribbean, ride, or movie, or even One Piece, this deck is for you. So come aboard for today. It's a Grixis Pirate's Life for me.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Longtime viewers of the channel know how we have to do it. We have to talk about the stats first before we jump right into it. So, as I mentioned earlier, we are a Grixis deck, which means we are rocking blue, black, and red colors. We're looking at an average mana curve of about 2.3. We have 31 creatures in the deck, 17 instants, 6 sorceries, 8 artifacts, 4 enchantments, and 36 lands. So with that, let's go ahead and let's go over our pirate crew. Starting, of course, with our commander herself, Admiral Brass, Unsinkable. This 5 mana Grixis human pirate is a 3/3 that reads, when Admiral Brass enters the battlefield, you mill 4 cards. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may return a target pirate creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. It has base power and toughness 4/4. It gains haste until end of turn. So, the whole idea, of course, with our deck is we're looking at 2 ways of taking advantage of Admiral Brass. One, with her ability, the main thing we're going to focus on, of course, is aggro plan and get a ton of value out of our pirates. Plan B to the deck is actually over here on the other side, which is our other actual win con, Revel in Riches. A 5 mana enchantment that reads, whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, create a treasure token. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. So it still may be a bit of a challenge as a pirates deck because, again, we're not as heavily supported as, say, again, elves or, say, goblins. However, there are some advantages that pirates do have. We do the best, of course, at making treasures, but we're also going to be really good at creating a bunch of buffs with our creatures with those treasures. So starting with our 1-drops, let's talk about now our actual creatures. Going over the beginning here, we have Siren Storm Tamer. It flies, it can counter a target spell that targets us or a creature we control. Spectral Sailor flashes itself in, and we can help use it to draw some cards. Spyglass Siren here, the Siren Pirate has flying and creates a map token. Changeling Outcast here is a shapeshifter that either can't be blocked, or Grasping Scoundrel gets a little bit of pump as long as it's attacking. Greedy Freeboater here is a new card also, which allows us to scry and also creates a treasure token for us when it dies. Fanatical Fire Ant here pings an opponent for or any target for 1 point of damage. Goblin Tomb Raider here also gets a little bit of buff if we have an artifact under our control. Brineborn Cutthroat has flash and gets +1/+1 anytime we cast a spell on our opponent's turn. Malcolm Alluring Scoundrel. Let's actually talk about this card. This is actually one of our other key cards here. This Siren Pirate is a 2/1 with flash and flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you put a chorus counter on it. You draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 4 or more chorus counters on Malcolm, you may cast the discarded card without paying its mana cost. In other words, if this can sit out on the battlefield for a little bit and do some damage against our opponent, we can build up a bunch of counters on it and eventually start casting things for free. Timestream Navigator here, we can then get an extra turn with the card. Dire Fleet Hoarder, when it dies, creates a treasure token for value. Dire Fleet Poisoner can also be pseudo removal if we flash it in with an attacking pirate. Kitesail Freebooter here allows us to kind of peek at our opponent and pull away a non-creature, non-land card. Enterprising Scallywag here can create a treasure token for us as long as we descended. Fair warning, however, this does not count treasure tokens. Captain Storm Cosmium Raider here can pump up our team as long as we then create a treasure token or any artifact. Dire Fleet Captain here can get +1/+1 for until end of turn for each other attacking pirate. Sailor means create your treasure token when it enters the battlefield. Forerunner or the Coalition can help us dig out any one of our pirates in the deck, and whenever a pirate enters the battlefield, they lose 1 life. Breach's Eager Pillager here, also really sweet in the deck. Let's also talk about this one as another highlight. This Goblin Pirate allows itself with first strike to then create a couple of extra treasures, or our target creature cannot block this turn, or you exile the top card of our library and we can play it this turn. Tons of value with this card if we can get multiple creatures to attack in a single turn. Captain Lattery Storm creates treasures when it attacks, and also you can pop them to pump itself up. Captain Ripley Vance here can put counters on itself, and if we get at least 3 spells cast in 1 turn when it's out, it can deal damage equal to its power to any target. Lightning Rig Crew here kind of bits on the slow side, but every time we can then tap it to do some extra points of damage. As long as we can cast a pirate spell, it can untap itself. Stormfleet Sprinter here can't be blocked, and it has haste. Dire Fleet Warmonger can get a +2/+2 if we are able to sacrifice another creature in a turn. Talus Lookout here, whenever it dies, we can then dig for some cards. We can put one into our hand and the other two at the graveyard. Pitiless Plunderer, this is also a really awesome card here. Whenever another creature we control dies, we create some treasures from it. Hostage Taker is our pseudo removal, can take away either an artifact or a creature off the battlefield, and also we can then cast it later against our opponent. Dire Fleet Neckbreaker here allows our entire attacking pirates to get +2/+0, and the other, an OG original commander, Admiral Beckett Brass, the 4-mana version of this human pirate, similar to the other one. However, it just gives all of our pirates +1/+1, and also if we can at least do combat damage with 3 or more pirates in a single turn, we can steal from our opponent one of their non-land permanents. Pretty sweet and pretty awesome for our deck. And then finally, the 5th drop slot, Deadeye Plunderers, which gets +1/+1 for each artifact we control. Since we are utilizing a lot of treasures, this gives us a ton of power for the card. As for the remainder of our deck, most of it is going to be a mix of value and also a little bit of flavor because, again, we are playing pirates. So we're going to use Opt. We'll have Wash Away as a counterspell, Cut Down for removal, as well as Fatal Push. Not Dead After All is a pseudo way to bring back something that's about to get hit. Spikefield Hazard, it's a modal card which can be a tap land or a removal. Siren's Ruse here can then blink something away to bring it back and get some card draw. Deadly Dispute for more card draw and treasure. Heartless Act for removal. Abrade for artifact hate. Lookout's Dispersal is our counterspell. Thirst for Discovery can help us dig for more stuff, as well as Thirst for Meaning, and also we could put stuff into the graveyard, which can help then take advantage of Admiral Brass. We also have Filter Out in case if our opponent is using a lot of non-land, non-creature cards. You find the Villain's Lair for another little bit of removal and also digging and looting. Fiery Cannonade mostly is just going to be here for flavor purposes since it deals 2 damage to each non-pirate creature. Unexpected Windfall is going to help us again dig, create some treasures, along with Pirate's Pillage, which does the same thing, only at sorcery speed. Speaking of other sorceries that can help us create some more treasures, Seize the Spoils here does the same thing. Feed the Swarm here is our enchantment hate primarily. Chart of Course can also again help us dig for some cards and discard. Strike at Ridge to make some more treasures. And March to the Drown to bring back some pirates to our hand. Great value out of this card because again it'll get us 2 pirates for our deck. In the artifact and enchantment side, we have Curious Obsession here for some more card draw. Soul Guide Lantern as your graveyard hate. Springleaf Drum to help tap something to fix our mana. Ominous Seas, again it's not a pirate, but it also is great for flavor purposes. Arcane Signet's a staple. Herald's Horn also is going to be great since we are mostly a creature deck. Coastal Piracy, also for a flavor, so that's why we have to have it. The Belligerent is our only artifact vehicle in the deck, and it helps us create some more treasure tokens and also some more card advantage. And as I mentioned earlier, Revel in Riches as our plan B to win the game. For the lands, it's going to be a bit of a mixture here. Yes, it's going to be a lot of tap lands, but again, we are a budget deck, so you're going to be utilizing some islands, some swamps, some mountains. For more graveyard hit, we have Bajuka Bog, and then every single tap land we are able to afford for the deck. Yes, that does mean we're going to be slow, but we will take advantage of the fact that we are building a ton of treasures, so don't feel too afraid to put in this many tap lands. As for the other utility cards we have Command Tower, Evolving Wilds, Maestro's Theater, Pit of Offerings, Roadside Reliquary, Secluded Courtyard, Takasha's Dig Site, Unclaimed Territory, and Volatile Fault to round out the land package. Can pirates be good enough now to compete in the format?
Good question.
So with that, come set sail right now as we take our deck into the Historic Brawl format and see how well it does. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content so you don't miss out on any of the gameplay, booster pack openings, deck decks, and so much more. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can our pirate deck get there in Historic Brawl? So, what do we have? We do have some decent stuff in the early game, but at the same time, we don't have the mana to cast certain things. Can we keep this hand? Let's mulligan and see. Maybe we could try for something else. Okay, let's try. Okay, well, this is actually a little better. We can definitely cast some stuff with this. We still get to keep Admiral Beckett Brass, and we get to make some other stuff here. I'm going to keep this hand. I think we can get there with this. Okay. Our opponent is playing Urza, so imagine some wild shenanigans are going to happen, because they're already playing some artifacts. That's okay, everybody. They get some card draw. They get to see our Tomb Raider. Command Tower coming in. We will play Greedy Freeboater. We do have at least some early game plays. This is actually nice for us. So we're going to hopefully get there with what we got. Swiftfoot Boots. Alright. Swamp down. Siren Storm Tamer. Go swinging. Start doing some damage. We have to get as quick as we can against our opponent here, because I imagine they're going to start doing their shenanigans. And there they go. That's fine. So the good news is we do have Heartless Act. Urza out. Okay, they bring it back. Don't want to play Bajuvog this early, but that's okay. We don't have a choice here. We just need to get our mana hits down. Wait, did I say mana hits? Mana drops. You know what I mean, everybody. Solemn Simulacrum. Okay, Sad Robot coming in, doing its thing. If we can at least get one red source, we can definitely start going off here, but that's... let's see if we can pull it off. Mox Amber. Alright, our opponent really is doing their thing. That's okay. Alright, so we will call up, obviously, Pirates. This means that Admiral Beckett Brass now can come in. Go swinging here. If they block with Solemn, that's okay. We at least can start fixing what we need for the next turn. And also that does mean we can have Admiral Beckett Brass come in soon. They draw a card. Actually, I mean, we actually already have a Brass. But you know what I mean, everybody. We have our actual commander. Any case, we'll pass here. Arcane Signet is sweet coming in. Is our opponent going to... ooh, okay, so... are they going to take down or take up? Okay. I'm a little scared they're probably going to take down. They'll probably take out the Brass. I figured. That's okay, everybody. This is fine, because here... time to bring in the other Admiral, everybody. Let's go. Can we pull off some milling here? Let's see. What do we get? What do we get? Okay, so with that... we bring back our actual Admiral. There we go, everybody. That's sweet. Okay. Take out Ugin. Hit their face. Alright, so we're looking pretty good right now. Can we at least maintain this momentum? Alright, Urza coming down again. They put the boots to it. Maze Mind's Tome. Obviously, our opponent here is not going to try to do their thing here, so I think we might be able to steal some stuff in a bit. Alright. Ooh, Fiery Cannonade. Not too shabby, actually. Okay, so here we do this. Arcane Signet. Okay, we're just going to keep the mana up. So with that, we'll bring back Greedy Freeboater. Now, 5/5. Let's swing with our pirates, everybody. Do you block our pirate fleet? No, they don't.
This is where the fun begins.
Let's get them. Let's be stealing their stuff. Arr. Arr, BBT. Okay, so with that... Okay. I'm having too much fun here, everybody. Okay. Pass here. So, let's steal something from them. What do we take? We're going to take that Mox Amber. That's all ours now. We be stealing our stuff. Yes, we got there. Wow, that was actually pretty quick. Oh, man. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Yes. Pirates, everybody. Alright, my fire friends, here we go. We are playing our Pirates Life deck in Historic Brawl. Can we get there with our Pirates? Let's see. I think we can keep this hand. We do have some Blink, have some card draw, have Fnatic Firebrand for a little aggro. So I think we can get there with this. We're going to, of course, start off with... what do we do? I think... also Floyd. Fjord. Not Floyd. I don't know why I said Floyd. You get the idea, everybody. Commune with dinosaurs. Okay, so our opponent is playing dinosaurs, so we're playing our pirates. Which of our tribes is going to be better? We're going to find out soon, everybody. Faults. We'll play Fanatical Firebrand. Get the aggro plan going. Our biggest advantage we have, of course, is we do run a little bit faster than what Gishath can do. So we just need to get around their shenanigans. Alright, so that mountain. Secluded Courtyard. We will play it on Pirate. Grixis coming in. Pass. So, next turn, we can definitely put out Dire Fleet Neckbreaker, which will also help us out. Thrashing Brontodon. He's big, but he's not too bad against us. Hit up Offerings. Mountain. We will play our Dire Fleet. So we could definitely now get some card advantage here. Or at least some ramp. So, prevent that from blocking. And let's make a treasure. Alright. Well, we're making progress. This is definitely good for us. Opponent's going to have to move a little faster here if they actually want to beat us. But I think we can pull it off with what we got. Thunderherd Migration. Alright, opponents get the ramp on. Spectral Sailor. Not too shabby. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we get around this? Okay, I think now's the time to play Admiral Brass. We got to do it now. Mill some cards. Come on, deck. Let's hit. Ooh, okay. We did hit something. Okay, okay. First off, though, we will just exile. Exile. We don't really need that. I just wanted to at least make sure we get some value out of that. So, with that, bit of offerings. We now bring this in, and we could steal something right now. This is actually awesome. Let's steal, again, the ramp. The reason why you want to steal the ramp is this now allows us to get some cheap, easy hits in here. We swing. Wow. This is definitely... All right, there we go, everybody. Oh, we did it. Wow, we actually pulled off a really quick win there. I was really happy about that one. A little faster than I was expected, but you can see once Pirate starts stealing stuff and gets super aggro, you can pull off actually some sweet wins with this deck. And there you have it, everybody. So you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Do you like playing Pirates in any way, shape, or form? Truth be told, I definitely had a lot of fun playing the deck, but yeah, I know some people are going to say it right now, Infernoman, you play way too many tap lands. In my only defense, I'm just going to say right now, we're hoping that we kind of were going to try to ride it out with treasure tokens to help speed things up, but again, the treasures only do well if we can actually get them, so I will acknowledge that maybe we should put in a couple more actual basics, something to keep in mind for the future. However, the deck, of course, is hilariously fun when you manage to steal a couple of our opponent's stuff. Anytime I've noticed we tend to take something that our opponent has, they tend to scoop very quickly here. I guess nobody likes their stuff being stolen. But in any case, that's something to keep in mind that maybe we should lean into it if we want to try this deck again in the future. Definitely take advantage of the fact that pirates like to steal stuff and like to loot. So aside from that, if you are, however, enjoying this version of the deck and you want to upgrade it even more, I'm going to show you again, my true fiery friends who are still watching, how you can make this deck even better than ever. Now you're interested in upgrading pirates, here's again what I'm going to recommend for you. Granted, we're not going to go over every single artifact, instant, enchantment per se. We're going to of course focus on the cards that really hammer in the core of what makes this pirate deck awesome. So as far as our creatures, we're looking at, of course, Ragavan Nimble Pilfer. I don't need to obviously talk about this card. The card's amazing. Definitely throw it in if you have a copy of it and immediately. Direfleet Daredevil helps with, of course, the focus on stealing stuff from our opponent, and of course it makes very opponent salty. If you need another lord, you have Corsair Captain, creates a treasure for us. That's pretty much it. Kitesail Larcenist, really awesome for us because they can kind of technically turn off something that your opponent has and turn it into a treasure, which can actually be really helpful for us in a pinch. Same thing with Warkite Marauder. When this thing attacks, it can turn off something and make it into a 0/1. Glasspool Mimic, it creates for us a tap land if we need it in a pinch, but otherwise it can help copy another pirate that we can do more shenanigans with. Dreamcaller Siren here is going to be helpful for us to then tap some stuff down so that way we can get more of our pirate attacks in. Captivating Crew, also a card that's kind of janky, but at the same time, if you have the mana open for it, it can start pulling stuff to our side of the battlefield and then make our opponent very salty when we do that. As far as additional support that's on flavor per se, you have Search for Escanta, great for us to dig. It can flip into a land itself. Throne of the Grim Captain here, really awesome card. This is actually something I kind of underestimate, but it's great for us because you can mill cards, which is great for Admiral Brass, and then start bringing stuff back, or you can do the craft ability and flip it into the Grim Captain, which is a giant, very powerful card that can close out games quickly. Brass's Tunnel Grinder here, same thing, it flips into a legendary land and can produce for us a ton of extra mana for us, which is great. Vance's Blasting Cannons, yes, this is a little janky, but it's actually pretty hilariously fun if you can pull it off. It's also, again, perfect for flavor purposes. And of course, Storm the Vault, if you really want to, again, emphasize the treasure production, this actually can make for us a ton of mana if we have a lot of treasures out on the battlefield. As far as upgrading the mana base, obviously I don't need to tell you this, but I'm going to still say it anyway. Grab any of the dual lands that you can play that are untapped, shock lands, dual lands, flip lands, all that jazz. But in terms of specifically for the deck to make this deck better, Castle Embereth here can pump up all of your creatures. You have Castle Lockway here to help us draw some cards. And you have Castle Vantress to help fix our draws to make sure we get what we need. Otawara's Soaring City, and of course Hall of the Storm Giants here to create one giant creature if we do need to kind of close things out, and it's kind of a pseudo flavor win here. That's why I threw it into the deck. And with that, of course, here are my final thoughts I want to give on the deck. As you saw from today's footage, I had, of course, a lot of fun doing it. Pirates are, of course, going to be definitely a lot more of a fun type of deck that you can build. Not to say that you couldn't go serious with pirates, but because of how it's designed right now, it has a little bit more of the casual feel versus, say, something like, oh, I don't know, like elves or goblins. Having said that, of course, if you do want to make it a little bit more competitive, you kind of saw today you can definitely invest quite a bit into it, and the ceiling for pirates has only gotten bigger as time has gone on. We definitely have a lot of new ones to play around with, and of course, you can still experiment with sub-themes to the deck if you are interested, whether you want to go more enchantment heavy, maybe you want to go more artifact heavy. Either way, if you do play this deck, I assure you, when you manage to steal your opponent's stuff, when you manage to cast off some cheap spells for free utilizing some of our unique abilities, when you are able to then loot your opponent and get a ton of treasure off of them and hopefully get your win with Revel and Riches, or however you manage to pull it off, you will have a lot of fun doing so, and I assure you, you will definitely not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later.